I was trapped in a horrifying world, one where the dark web kidnapper held all the cards. It began like any ordinary day. I was a computer whiz, always tinkering with technology and exploring the depths of the internet. Curiosity had been my downfall. I stumbled upon a forum, a place whispered about in hushed tones on the dark corners of the internet, a place where the most sinister desires of humanity found their fulfillment. It was there that I encountered the enigmatic figure known as the Abyss. The Abyss was a legend among the dark web denizens, a shadowy presence that specialized in kidnapping and tormenting their victims. Their identity was shrouded in mystery, and their methods were brutal and merciless. I couldn't resist the temptation to dig deeper to unravel the secrets of this sinister figure. Little did I know that my curiosity would lead me down a path from which there was no return. I had spent weeks trying to uncover the Abyss's true identity, tracing their digital footprints through the labyrinthine passages of the dark web. It was a game of cat and mouse, and I was convinced I was winning. Until one fateful night when my computer screen flickered, and a message appeared in the most chilling font I had ever seen. "Hello, curious soul." My heart sank as I realized that the Abyss had found me. Panic surged through me, and I frantically tried to disconnect from the internet, but it was too late. My computer froze, and the lights in my room dimmed, plunging me into darkness. I heard a faint whisper, a voice that seemed to emanate from the very depths of hell itself. "You've been searching for me, haven't you?" The voice was cold, devoid of any emotion. "You wanted to know who I am. Well, now you'll find out." The room slowly filled with an eerie, bluish light, revealing the sinister figure of the Abyss. Their face was obscured by a grotesque mask, and their presence sent shivers down my spine. They circled around me, the sound of their footsteps echoing like a death knell. "You're going to be my guest for a while?" the Abyss hissed, producing a wicked-looking knife from the folds of their dark cloak. "But don't worry, I won't be so cruel as to keep you here in the dark. You see, I have a special plan for you." With a quick, menacing motion, they cut the ropes that bound me to the chair. I stumbled to my feet, my legs weak from fear. The room around us transformed into a grotesque chamber of horrors, with blood-stained walls and eerie, flickering candles casting eerie shadows. The Abyss led me to a grotesque contraption, a metal table adorned with straps and restraints. I could see a look of sadistic glee in their eyes as they forced me onto the table, securing me in place. My mind raced with terror as I realized the horror that awaited me. The torment that followed was beyond anything I could have imagined. The Abyss reveled in their sadistic games, pushing the boundaries of human suffering. Hours turned into days, and I lost all sense of time and reality. My pleas for mercy fell on deaf ears as they continued their relentless torture. As my body and mind began to deteriorate, I clung to a glimmer of hope. I knew that I had to escape this nightmare, that I couldn't let the Abyss break me completely. With every ounce of strength left in me, I plotted my escape, biding my time until the opportunity presented itself. In the end, it was a stroke of luck that saved me. The authorities had been closing in on the Abyss, and in a desperate attempt to cover their tracks, they released me. Bruised, broken, and traumatized, I stumbled back into the light of day, forever scarred by the horrors of the dark web. The legend of the Abyss still haunts me, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks in the hidden corners of the internet. I share my story now as a warning to others, a cautionary tale of the dangers of curiosity and the depths of depravity that some are willing to descend into. The dark web kidnapper known as the Abyss may be gone, but the nightmares they inflicted upon me will never fade. I often found myself exploring the hidden corners of the internet, seeking out the obscure and unconventional. Little did I know that this venture into the depths of the web would lead me to a chilling encounter with the enigmatic figure known as the Dark Web Doctor. The dark web had always intrigued me, a place where the darkest of desires and clandestine dealings thrived beneath the surface of the mainstream internet. Stories of illegal markets, hackers for hire, and unspeakable horrors whispered in the virtual shadows had always piqued my interest. One evening, fueled by an unexplainable urge to delve deeper, I fired up my Tor browser and began my descent into this digital underworld. Navigating through the labyrinthine maze of .onion websites, I stumbled upon a forum with a peculiar reputation. It was there that I first encountered the cryptic username Darkwender. Anonymity was the currency of the dark web, and this user had it in abundance. His reputation was shrouded in mystery, his services known only to those willing to pay the price. Intrigued and perhaps a bit reckless, I reached out to Dark Web Dar with a simple message. "What can you offer?" The response was swift and unsettling, a stark contrast to the patient tones I had expected from a medical professional. "I can offer you the cure to any ailment, the solution to any problem, but it comes at a cost," his message read. "Are you willing to pay?" The cryptic nature of his reply sent a chill down my spine, but curiosity got the better of me. I replied affirmatively, expressing interest in his services without truly understanding the depths of what I had just entered. Within hours, Dark Web Door sent me a link to a secure video chat, and we were face to face, albeit shrouded in digital anonymity. His voice was cold and emotionless as he introduced himself. "I can provide any medical procedure you desire," he said, his voice devoid of compassion. "But first, you must prove your commitment." With an unsettling efficiency, Dark Web Door instructed me to provide personal information, photographs, and a substantial upfront payment in Bitcoin. I hesitated, wondering if this was an elaborate scam or something far more sinister, but I had come too far to turn back now. Once the payment was confirmed, Dark Web Door began to reveal the true extent of his capabilities. He boasted of skills that transcended the boundaries of legality and morality. His clientele ranged from desperate individuals seeking experimental treatments to criminals in need of discreet medical assistance after sustaining gunshot wounds during their illicit activities. As he delved deeper into the details of his work, I realized that I had stepped into a world where ethics had no place. He spoke of black market organs, experimental drugs, and procedures that would never see the light of day in a legitimate medical facility. He was a modern-day Dr. Frankenstein operating beyond the boundaries of the law. My initial fascination with Dark Web Door quickly turned into a chilling realization of the darkness that surrounded him. He had no regard for the consequences of his actions, no moral compass to guide him. His patients were nothing more than commodities, their suffering and desperation the currency that fueled his twisted ambitions. Despite my growing unease, I found myself unable to sever ties with this enigmatic figure. The allure of forbidden knowledge and the potential for limitless power had me ensnared in his web of deception. As weeks turned into months, I watched in horror as Dark Web Door's activities grew increasingly malevolent. His clientele expanded to include criminal organizations involved in human trafficking, and his procedures became more grotesque and ethically indefensible. I had become an unwilling witness to his descent into darkness. The day finally came when I could bear the guilt and fear no longer. I reached out to law enforcement, providing them with all the evidence I had gathered during my disturbing encounters with Dark Web Door. My actions were fraught with danger as I knew that he could trace my digital footsteps back to me, but I couldn't stand by while he continued his reign of terror. The investigation that followed was intense and harrowing, leading to the eventual capture and arrest of Dark Web Door. The true scope of his crimes shocked even the most seasoned investigators, and his reign of terror was finally brought to an end. My encounter with the Dark Web Doctor left me scarred and haunted, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked in the hidden corners of the internet. I had journeyed into the abyss, but in doing so, I had also helped expose the malevolent force that thrived there. It was a lesson in the consequences of curiosity and the dangers of delving too deeply into the unknown, a lesson I would never forget. I had heard whispers of the dark web, the hidden underbelly of the internet where anonymity reigned supreme, and the unthinkable was just a click away. With my heart pounding and a sense of trepidation, I downloaded the Tor browser, the gateway to the clandestine world that lay beneath the surface. I knew the risks, the stories of illegal markets, hackers, and the unfathomable horrors that lurked in the digital shadows. Still, I couldn't resist the temptation to see it for myself. As I navigated through the maze of onion websites, the sheer scale of the dark web's hidden depths both fascinated and horrified me. It was a chaotic realm, a digital Wild West where no rules applied. Alongside forums discussing privacy, encryption, and cyberpunk ideologies, there were darker corners that hinted at something sinister lurking just out of sight. My curiosity soon led me to a forum thread that caught my attention, titled, "The Abyss, Unraveling the Unthinkable." It promised a glimpse into the deepest, darkest secrets of the dark web, tales of unspeakable horrors that defied belief. With each post I read, my fascination grew, and I couldn't help but become entangled in the sinister narratives spun by those who claimed to have ventured into the abyss. One user, who went by the alias Cryptic Observer, recounted a story that sent shivers down my spine. He spoke of an enigmatic figure known as the Abyss, a shadowy presence that specialized in trafficking and selling forbidden knowledge. They were said to possess secrets that could destroy lives, knowledge that humanity was not meant to possess. Intrigued, I decided to dig deeper, reaching out to Cryptic Observer for more information. His response was swift, a private message containing a warning that chilled me to my core. Be careful what you seek, for the abyss stares back. Ignoring the warning, I continued my quest to uncover the truth behind the abyss. I navigated through encrypted chats and hidden channels, each step taking me further into the heart of darkness. It wasn't long before I received an invitation from an unknown user, simply named Abyssmaster. Our conversation was cryptic, filled with riddles and veiled threats. Abyssmaster claimed to possess the keys to forbidden knowledge that would forever change my perception of reality. In exchange for access to this dark repository of secrets, I was required to complete a series of tasks, each one more disturbing and morally ambiguous than the last. I found myself caught in a web of moral ambiguity, torn between my insatiable curiosity and the growing realization that I was being drawn into something far more sinister than I had ever imagined. The tasks assigned to me were increasingly nefarious, from hacking into confidential databases to disseminating false information that could ruin lives. As I descended further into the abyss, my life outside the dark web began to unravel. Paranoia consumed me, as I became convinced that my every move was being monitored by unknown forces. Sleepless nights and constant anxiety took their toll, and I realized that I had ventured too deep into this digital abyss to turn back. It was only when Abyssmaster finally revealed his true intentions that the full horror of my situation became clear. He had been using me as a pawn in a larger game, manipulating me to carry out his dark agenda. The consequences of my actions began to surface, and I was forced to confront the grim reality that I had become complicit in the malevolent activities of the abyss. Terrified for my safety and haunted by the darkness that now clung to my soul, I made the fateful decision to sever all ties with the dark web and the sinister figures that lurked within. With great effort, I disconnected from the digital underworld and began the arduous process of rebuilding my life, forever scarred by the horrors I had witnessed and the choices I had made. My journey into the dark web had been a descent into madness, a harrowing reminder that curiosity, when left unchecked, can lead to a place from which there is no return. The abyss had stared back at me, and I had glimpsed the unspeakable horrors that dwelled in the darkest corners of the internet, a chilling experience that would haunt me for the rest of my days.